this one at the weekend, I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful too much, but when you look at that Premier League table and you think we've just had a really tough game in Paris, you would pick the team with only 9 points at home, wouldn't you, in all honesty?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You don't want to kind of be disrespectful at all or kind of take anything for granted. But I don't know how you're supposed to look at this game in any other way. The best side in the Premier League by a long distance against the worst Premier League side potentially in history if they don't pick up any more points. So, and it's at Anfield as well. You just like to think that Liverpool are going to kind of wipe the floor with them, really. And, I know they gave Liverpool a bit of a game earlier in the season, but I think the confidence has taken a huge battering since then. And the Anfield factor, and Liverpool are an even better side than they were early in the season. So really, really difficult to see this going any other way than a home win and a comfortable afternoon. And the upside there is that if you can make it as comfortable as possible, it's not taking too much out of you in the build-up to that second leg against PSG.
Yeah, it does seem the nice filler between that first and second leg. And I mean, you're right, 9 points, ship 65, 2 4-0 defeats back-to-back, so confidence feels on the floor. Even as I'm saying that, a lot of people, and you'll have seen it, there's clamour for Nunes did well last night, put him in. Elliott did well last night. If he's not going to start against Southampton, when's he going to start? Endo, all these rotations. Arne Slot history or his record, or based on the facts of what we can see, he's probably going to be like 1 or 2, you fancy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be really surprised to see any rotation, really. I mean, wouldn't be hugely shocked to see a Darwin start just on the basis that he's been comfortable making that change from time to time, and similarly kind of Kostas Tsimikas at left back maybe, but outside of that, it would probably go with the strongest 11, and I think his thinking will be there. Can we get this wrapped up? Give Harvey Elliott the last half hour, maybe even see Federico Chiesa, who knows if he's allowed out of the cell he's locked in, and maybe Endo to help see it out as well. But we just know by now, don't we? This is not a manager who rotates. And maybe that will, like I said earlier when we talked about Harvey, really, maybe that will change coming into next season because, he'll have a better idea of what the job is and we'll know where he's more comfortable rotating. But I don't expect it this season. I think he'll be keen to just get this Premier League title wrapped up as quickly as humanly possible, really.
Yeah, with only one Premier League game this month, it's difficult to imagine anything different at all. And the final bit, it almost takes you a little bit back to the start and what we talked about. I know you'll have clocked the tweet by Dougie Critchley from Sky Sports, European Scout, and various bits. And people have had strong opinions on this, where he said today along the lines of, Liverpool fans should be concerned by what happened last night, being outplayed, various things. And others have responded with an essence of, well, isn't this what Real Madrid did? And isn't like the fact we can win in various ways and play badly like Mourinho's did? Isn't that a factor? I mean, surely that's just almost done for a little bit of traction, shall we say, without wanting to be disrespectful. There's nothing too negative about last night overall, is there?
No. I mean, I think that's absolutely... I think that's just nonsense, really. And I get the point, generally speaking, in terms of performances are everything, because on that basis is, if you win the first couple of games of a season playing poorly, it's going to get you. It's going to catch up with you. You are going to get caught out by that at some point. But, I mean, this is possibly like the hardest away game you could conceive of in football at the moment. The way PSG are playing, they haven't lost a game since November. So even Real Madrid are losing more frequently and more regularly than that. So, like I say, possibly the hardest away game in all European football at the moment. And Liverpool, got completely taken apart in that first half. But they got away with it, and then much better in terms of controlling PSG in the second half, and they won it. They managed to hang in and win the game in the end, which I just think. That shows incredible resilience. They used the look they got in the first half. And then, like I say, incredible resilience. And then the moment of quality when it came about. And the fact is, I think people are going to be really surprised at it. It kind of shocks me, really. I think people have forgotten how hard like European away ties are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that you can go away from home and get absolutely played off the park. That is absolutely, capable, a possibility. And the whole idea is to just hang in there really and see how low you can keep the score and then beat them at your place. And I think people are going to get a little bit of a wake up call, because I think people now expect that PSG are going to come to Anfield and play the same way, and Liverpool are going to have to, Liverpool are going to have to play better. Well, they will play better. I can almost guarantee it. I mean, maybe I'm going to make myself look a fool, but I'm almost certain Liverpool will dominate the game at Anfield, because home advantage is absolutely massive. And PSG are not going to be able to take the same risks. They're not going to be able to run over Liverpool in the same way. And I think we'll see a worse version of PSG at Anfield and a better version of Liverpool. And you combine those two things, and I think Liverpool will win the game and go through in the end. So I think people are reading a little bit too much into it. And I also don't think what he's saying there gives credit maybe to the fact that the second half was a little bit different. It wasn't the same kind of dominance. So, the fact Liverpool hung in there and then won it in the end, and they're probably not going to have a tougher game than that in the rest of their European campaign this season. That bodes terribly for everybody else who's going to try and beat them to the Champions League trophy, I would say.
Yeah, I generally think, and we've seen a lot of good sides come to Anfield this season as well, not forgetting Real Madrid. PSG were the best side we faced last season. Just that energy, pace, enthusiasm, and maybe part of it's because it's in the Parc des Princes. But yeah, it was a big test. And even now, I'm still trying not to laugh. We won 1-0, even with all that and the stats. So there is so much to be positive about. No two ways about it. There we are, ladies and gents. Turns out you can actually get battered all throughout Paris and still take a 1-0 victory away. It turns out we've got officially the worst team in the Premier League this Saturday. Let's hope it's a routine 3-point and a rest up for the second leg. Although with Liverpool, we always know there can be a little bit of something, so we'll have to see what the weekend brings. All it leaves me to say as ever is, David, for the time, the insight, and answering all those questions, it is much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
And ladies and gents, that was another Media Matters for Anfield Index.